All right. Good afternoon, Joe. Thanks for coming in today. How are we doing?
Good, how about you?
I'm doing well. Doing well. Thank you. We had a discussion last week, and you said that losing weight was important to you. You indicated that on a scale of 1 to 10, it's about an 8 out of 10. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
We discussed, or you said, that you feel like making some dietary changes might help you lose that weight. Is that still
Yeah,
accurate?
yeah, I feel like it's on the list.
Okay, can you tell me a little bit more about that?
I just feel like a lot of times I just don't know what to eat and when, and I wind up just going for whatever's easy to grab.
Okay,
And I try to focus on my protein, but sometimes I'm just not sure what types of protein to choose for what I'm trying to do.
got it. Okay, so what I'm hearing is that you sound like you do want to try something. Is that right? And I'm hearing that you have some ideas about what might work, and you're just a little bit unclear and kind of want a little bit more direction. Is that accurate? Is that safe to say?
Yeah, I just, I can't get with the vegetables. I can't. I
Okay.
just don't like them.
Tell me a little bit more about that. What is it about the vegetables?
I think it's the I don't know. I just don't like eating leaves.
Hmm.
I don't find
Interesting.
it appealing.
Okay. And how do you think that by not eating vegetables, how do you think that might affect your goals?
Um, well, I definitely encounter some troubles with stomach sometimes.
Hmm.
It feels like I'm a little kind of stopped up.
Hmm. Okay.
I don't really know.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just kind of how I've always eaten. Just
Right.
kind of whatever I can grab, eating potatoes is usually what I try to do.
Okay. So it sounds like you enjoy meat and potatoes, right? Is that safe to say? That's what you like to eat.
For
Okay.
sure.
What I'm also hearing is that you have been having some GI issues. Is that right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. And I noticed, when I asked you about the vegetables, you mentioned the GI issues. Do you think is something, do you think that they're associated? Maybe is that why you brought that up, or?
It could be. I mean, like I've had bad experiences recently with like broccoli and like mainly broccoli. I just can't. That was used to be a go-to vegetable for me growing up. And I've been able to eat it. I get really gassy and upset in my stomach.
Okay, so it sounds like maybe there's some kind of low-key trauma around the broccoli, and then that, yeah,
Maybe.
right, okay. What about other vegetables? Are there any other vegetables that you either like or don't like?
I mean, I don't mind like spinach and asparagus, I guess, but I'm not a fan. I won't eat it myself.
Sure, sure.
If it comes with the meal, I might eat some.
Sure. Okay. So what I'm hearing is, it's maybe there's some resistance there with the vegetables, right? Which is totally fine, totally okay. Well, what I'm hearing is also you do want to lose some weight, and also, I mean, is it safe to assume that you'd like to maybe address those GI issues if possible?
Yeah.
Would that,
Absolutely.
yeah. So is that? I mean, are they both? Would both of those things be important to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else that you could think of outside of the vegetables, let's say, right? Because that's kind of we have a little bit of a negative association with that right now. We've kind of established that, which is okay. Is there anything else that you could think of that might help you lose weight and or help with the GI outside of vegetables that you do like?
I mean, I like fruit and water seems to not be
Okay.
an issue at least for me.
Yeah. I mean, that's great. What is it about fruit? What is it about fruit that you like? Or how do you feel when you eat fruit? How does your stomach feel when you eat fruit?
I've never really noticed unless I eat too much.
Okay.
Of course, a stomach issue. It seems like fruit makes me feel a little bit better, a little more energy.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I mean, fruit definitely has fiber in it, right? It has many of the same benefits as vegetables as it relates to GI. And it can certainly lead to more satiety and getting you feeling more full. How much fruit are you eating now?
Maybe a piece a day.
Okay.
Too much.
All right.
I heard it was bad for this weight.
Yeah. But tell me about that.
I don't know. Just all the stuff I read online said not to eat fruit because it's sugar.
Okay. And how do you feel about that? What do you think?
I mean, I don't know that much. I feel like so it seems like that makes sense, but at the same time, it seems pretty weird to not eat something that's good for you.
So it sounds like you're hearing one thing, maybe on the internet, but maybe your instincts are telling you a little something different.
A little bit.
Okay. Is that something that you'd be willing to explore a little bit more?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's go back to the protein for a minute, okay? Because you said that you're very much kind of motivated already to kind of eat more protein. Is that right? What questions do you have around protein?
What kind should I be eating? Can I eat? And like I hear steak is bad, beef is bad, it's red meat. Fish is good, but I don't really like any cooked fish.
Okay.
I only really like cod, whitefish cooked.
Right. Well, let's start here, Joe. What do you like? What kinds of protein do you like to eat? Do you enjoy?
I like steak.
You like steak?
I like beef.
Okay, you like beef.
I like pork.
Okay, beef and pork.
Salmon, I'll eat raw.
Okay.
I like cod and whitefish, and chicken is okay. I like chicken sometimes.
Okay. So, I mean, any and all of those can be great sources of protein. Okay. Right? They can all be great sources of protein. You said that you want to lose weight and also, establish a secondary goal of maybe addressing some of that stomach upset. So I think what may help with that is going for the leaner sources of protein. Okay? So for beef, that might be like a top round.
Okay.
Right? For pork, we're talking probably a pork loin as opposed to maybe bacon or pork belly. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, I think when people say meat is bad, they're probably referring to the saturated fat that's found in some of the fattier meats that has been associated with higher blood cholesterol.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you feel a little bit better about eating what you kind of already like to eat? Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So let's just kind of recap for a minute. All right. We want to lose weight. We want to maybe address some of that GI discomfort. We're not crazy about vegetables right now, but we like fruits and we like meat, but we're not sure we want to eat the good kind of meat if we can, or better meat to kind of align with those goals that we already established. Is that right? All right. So how do you feel about maybe trying to walk out of here today with maybe one thing that you can do, either on a daily or weekly basis, that might help you move in that direction? How does that sound?
I'll try it.
Okay, great. I mean, I love your enthusiasm. I appreciate that. I mean, and really, look, the choice is yours, right? Because this is your program, this is your time, and ultimately, these are your goals, and this is your life. So I want to give you as much autonomy here as possible, right? So, what I found success with previous clients is focusing on one thing at a time. Focusing on one thing at a time. So, which would you rather work on if we had either of those two paths to go on? The fruit or the protein?
Which one's going to be more effective for the goal?
It all depends on the user, right? It really, I mean, they can both be equally effective, in my opinion. I think, and eventually we'll address both of them. It's really just a matter of which do you want to address first. Which do you feel like would be easier for you to do on a regular basis?
Probably the protein choice.
The protein?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's look at that for a minute, and let's look again at what are some of the lean sources of protein, right? So how often a week are you eating lean sources of protein?
I mean, my favorite cuts of steak are usually like a flank, or I don't mind broil and sirloin. So I feel like those are pretty lean. I used to drink fat off of them too, because I'm not a huge gristle fan.
Yeah.
I mean, salmon isn't that big, is it? I think it's.
So salmon is not necessarily lean. However, the fat in salmon can be very, very beneficial to our health. So I wouldn't shy away from that. Okay, I wouldn't shy away from that. I would look at the saturated fat in red meat as more of a problem. Okay. How do you feel about maybe switching out either some of those fattier cuts of meat to something leaner? like a London broil, sirloin, or if you're doing pork, maybe a pork loin.
It's easy.
It's easy.
Yeah, it all kind of, it all feels the same.
Okay.
I trim the fat most of the time anyway. Pork, I really only eat pork semi-cut or loin anyway.
Okay.
Usually shop at the deals.
Yeah.
Meats are usually cheaper.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is it's not going to be hard for you at all to switch out to those linear cuts of meat. And do you feel like that kind of that will align with your goals? Do you kind of see the value in that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So how can we put that into an action plan? What would that look like?
I just when I cook dinner, I just make sure I trim whatever, or maybe I'm just buying the leaner cuts. I mean, in the refrigerator now I have this one for it. I can just trim whatever fat is on there as it is, and just cook it with a tiny bit of olive oil, or maybe I can use a non-stick spray. Right?
Yeah. And again, olive oil is fine. We definitely need fat. And I want to just emphasize, we're not trying to avoid all fat, right? What we're trying to do is watch our overall fat intake, and we're trying to maybe lessen the amount of saturated fats that we're getting from the meat. Okay, just because that can lead to more inflammation in the gut. Okay, because those type of fats are associated more with inflammation compared to the fats in the fish, right? Let me ask you this. How do you feel about grass-fed meat versus traditional?
I've had it in the past. It does taste better.
Okay.
In my opinion, it tastes a little different. It's just expensive, but that's at the end of the day, I can probably do that at least twice a week.
Yeah?
In fact,
Okay.
it's not that much.
Does that sound like something that you'd be motivated to do? Using, yeah? Okay. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, purchasing grass-fed meat as opposed to traditional farm raised, how confident do you feel that you could do that at least twice a week? 10 out of 10? Okay, excellent. So why don't we set that as our habit? We'll circle back next week and we'll see how you did, and we'll have this conversation again. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for your time, Joe.
Thank you.
Pleasure.